we're here with Colby Todd. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Name's Colby Todd. My birth name is Jacob, but everybody calls me Coby. I had a cousin named Jacob, so my parents decided to call me Coby, and it just stuck with me ever since. All my teachers call me Jacob, so it's kind of weird when I go to classes and whatnot, but the main reason I'm here is just one of my passions that I've always had when growing up into is fitness and health, and I've always had a big passion for it. That's how my parents met. My mom and my dad both did bodybuilding back in the day, back in their younger days, and they just had I grew up into it, so I've really been focused on that, and I've been doing it since I was a senior in high school. Started lifting serious when I was a junior, but competing and bodybuilding wise, I started doing that my end of my senior year. So
cool. So you just came back from Houston, right?
Yeah, I competed in a bodybuilding and classic physique show. It was pretty much a fitness expo kind of show per se, and it was in Houston, and I competed in the bodybuilding division. Obviously, Arnold Schwarzenegger, all of that. He's pretty much the big name that people think of when they think of bodybuilding. And there was also the classic physique division. The difference between the bodybuilding and classic physique divisions is, well, bodybuilding, you have the guys, it's overall muscle mass, and pretty much they look for bigger guys in that category. But classic physique, you think of the guys back in Arnold Schwarzenegger days, they really looked for wide shoulders, small waist, and then it's you want to look for that kind of, it's called the golden era of bodybuilding back in those days. That's kind of the physique that you want to have in that. So I ended up getting first in my division in bodybuilding, and I got second in my classic physique division just because the guy who beat me was in his 40s. He had a lot more experience, more time in the gym. So, he
knew what was going on.
Yeah, and it was really cool because I had professional bodybuilders there. I made friends with one of them. I got his number, everything like that.
Cool, kind of like a mentorship thing.
Yeah, absolutely. He told me I should have won my classic physique division. I got robbed.
Well, that's cool though. That's to get brings your spirit up a little bit though, huh?
Yeah, absolutely. It's just because I was beating other guys that were in their mid 20s, 30s, and I'm 19 stepping on that stage. It was only my second show.
How'd you feel? What was it like?
I don't know. This past show, since it was my second one, I felt a little more focused. Felt like I knew what I was doing, because the first one I competed in my senior year was just I don't know, I wasn't sure, and I kind of went into it I have a coach who tells me my diet and my training, and he's all the way down in Texas. All he does is just text me everything, and progress pictures and everything like that. I would just message it to him.
Mm-hmm. Just so he can see how you're kind of doing and map it from. So that's long distance then.
Yeah, it was every week, every Sunday I had to send him progress pictures. And he would change things in my diet and change things in my training just not day by day, but week by week. And it was I had to constantly keep up with it. That's how it really was this past year. But my senior year, we were just trial and error kind of thing. And then this past show, we knew exactly what to do, and we knew how my body was working with different things. And you were ready to go. Yep. And I definitely stepped on that stage this past show looked a lot better than the first one.
What was it like? What was the feeling of standing up on stage in front of everybody?
Kind of gives you chills, honestly.
Were you nervous?
Yeah, the first time I definitely was. The second time it was I had doubters, because I was just in the teenage division my first year. And
so everybody was kind of hating on you a little bit?
Yeah, my first year people were definitely hating on me, enticing me with different food, because I love food myself. Sure. And then people would always just hey, have a bite of this. Hey, you can have a bite of this, it won't hurt you. It's no, you cannot, you can't do that to me. And it's it really nagged at me for a while, but then every time it happened, it was just you gotta think of the end of it, and you gotta think of the main goal, man. and it's you just can't let that stuff get to you. It's all about the discipline, and it really, really helps you become more disciplined with not just that outlook, but like other things too.
For sure. So what are a couple ways that you discipline yourself? Or not necessarily that way, but what are a couple things that keep you on track?
I just keep reminders, man, to always keep me on track. The main thing that really motivates me to try to always stay in shape and just keep going with it throughout is just thought of my dad. He passed when I was three and a half, and he pretty much is my inspiration.
Cool. So that's a pretty big core thing that really drives you.
Yeah, it's a really big thing that drives me. Plus my family. My little brother Levi, he's 14. Just this past year during my first show that I did, he suffered a illness or just a condition to where he was paralyzed from the waist down.
Oh.
And right now, just this past show, I think he was probably one of my biggest inspirations because he was in the gym with me.
That's so cool.
And he was pushing me.
Getting chills,
and he was pushing me, and I was pushing him at the same time.
That's crazy.
And when the first time I ever stepped on stage, it was for him, and that was my main motivation. My first time was my little brother.
So you got some big things pushing you, because it's like me. I mean, I'm going to the gym and stuff, but eating right. It's so tough. A lot of people say like 80-20, 80% eating right, 20% working out almost. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, the diet is definitely the big thing. I mean, my first time I ever thought trying to get big was just, eating everything, anything and everything, right? But you come to realize it's like you're going to pack on way too much body fat, and when you try to lose all that weight to become defined and look lean, a lot of that body fat isn't just body fat, it's muscle that comes with it too, because you're just sacrificing a lot of it. That's what happened my first show. Football, I ate whatever, whenever, and I got up to 200 pounds my senior year. But when I stepped on stage, I was probably floating around 150, 155 pounds. So I lost 50 pounds to be able to step on that stage, and then put on to about 10 more pounds of muscle to step on the stage just this past show.
Dang.
So
what were you weighing at that show?
This past one?
Yeah.
160 when I stepped on stage.
Dang.
It was my coach was really proud of me. He's definitely a really big inspiration. My coach was if you don't know who Ronnie Coleman is, Google him. Just Ronnie Coleman. You can sound it out. He's an 8-time Mr. Olympia. If you think about that, Arnold Schwarzenegger won 7, so he's a step ahead of Arnold. Ronnie Coleman was trained by my coach, my coach is the one who found or brought up Ronnie.
That's crazy.
And the sad thing is I haven't met Ronnie yet.
Yeah, dang.
Yeah, but
it's out there though. That's on your list of things to do, probably, huh?
Yeah, that's what really made me confident stepping on stage the past 2 shows I did.
You have that people supporting you.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
And he was the one who told me, he's like, my senior year of wrestling, he's like, oh, you have a great physique. You should consider doing the show that's in April. And I was like, oh, okay.
Sure,
why not? Yep. And then I ended up doing that, and I've fell in love with it ever since. Some people ask me, like, why do you do it? Like, I'm just like, I love it. And it's kind of the thing that just, I love to test myself and see what my body can do and see the potential that I have.
For sure. I hate to cut us off. I just want to check. Awesome. We were just doing a little mic check. But so what are a couple ways that you, like, how did you prep for that Houston show? Like, was it like every day in the gym, eating right, supplements and everything, or?
So it started in March. It was a 16-week long prep, and 16 weeks I was thinking, like, it's going to be forever, because the first one I did was only 12 because I was already pretty lean from wrestling. But this past one, I started it from 13% body fat and weighing like 180 pounds. I didn't think I was going to be ready, and I was kind of doubting myself a little bit at the beginning. But then, like, when I went back to the same dieting that I did before, and knowing what how my body would respond and what my coach was telling me, I I pretty much just put that into action, and probably give it 3 weeks, I was seeing results, and I was dropping body fat, and it was crazy. And I kept thinking to myself that if I just keep doing what I'm doing and I don't change things up and I don't psych myself out, everything will be fine. Because when you psych yourself out and you start to change your routine,
like your mentality too, probably.
Yeah, the mental part's probably the biggest thing. Because it's
so how do you push through that barrier? Because a lot of people, they're like, oh, I should work out, I should do this, but like, you know, they don't actually ever take that step to just jump, you know.
I think you got to think of going to the gym. This is how I think of it too. You got to think of going to the gym and working out as a privilege. You shouldn't think of it as a chore or that you need to do it. Because when I wake up every day, and there's some days where I don't want to get up and do my cardio, but I mean, I always want to go to the gym. I mean, I love it. I enjoy it, but like cardio wise, I hate cardio. But like, you shouldn't think of it as a chore or something that you need to do, because in order to keep your body healthy and to have like good blood flow and good cardiovascular health, you got to do that. I mean, even just getting up and eating breakfast first, or just like going and walking on the treadmill for 15 minutes, every day, or even 3 or 4 days a week, you're going to have good cardiovascular health. But you shouldn't think of it as a chore, honestly. You should think of it as a privilege, because you get to go to the gym every day. You don't have to. I mean, that's how I think. That's how I always think of it.
Well, that's a good way to view it, because, you know, a lot of people, they're so pessimistic. They're like, oh, I had a bad day. Like, my car broke down. I got water in my car. I left my window down. But, you know, I tell people, like, you got 2 ears, you got 2 eyes, you got 2 arms, you got 2 legs. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. You should be grateful for what you're doing and just kind of keep doing what you want. You know, if you want to get in the gym, like you said, you know, find those things to kind of motivate you.
Yeah. And some people look at this sport that I do and other guys like me do as kind of like selfish and like, oh, look at me and stuff like that. But it's not. Like,
it's a passion.
It is. You're doing it to prove a point sometimes. And then, like, I don't know, other guys do it to, you know, they want to be in shape. They want to look good. They don't want to be afraid to take their shirt off when they're out in public. It's just some of those things.
And everybody has their own reason, probably, too.
Yeah, exactly. Today, the coolest thing, the past couple of days I've been at the Y, there was a lady, you know, she's a little heavier set, you know, it's just, and I look at her and I think, man, she's a step ahead of everybody else that is in her shoes, that is like her. And I wanted to go up to her and, you know, just say, like, I'm really proud of you.
Bro, if you did, I bet that would make her year, probably, or something,
probably.
You know?
Like, if I do see her in there again, I will definitely say something to her.
That's cool, yeah.
And she's working hard. I mean, she did her cardio. She was all over the machines in there, and she was, I mean, it was great. And
just to see her go through that.
And it was, I can't wait to, if she keeps up with that, and hopefully her diet's good, because if you go to you can't you can't outwork a bad diet. That's just the point. But like, if she keeps up with it, I would like to see how she looks in a couple of months or in a year or so.
That's cool.
She's doing good.
Well, I always see that picture on like Twitter, Instagram. It's like, it's the fat guy in the gym, and he's like, people who make fun of fat guys in the gym, like, he's in the gym for a reason. You know what I'm saying?
I mean,
like,
he's a step ahead of the fat guy that's sitting on the couch.
Exactly, eating potato chips.
Yeah, doing nothing, and
he's trying to make a difference.
Exactly, and it's all about breaking through that barrier and making it a routine. Because if you keep up with that and you do it for a week and you take a rest on the weekend and you stick with your diet and everything like that, even on the weekend when you're resting, and you come back Monday and you keep going with it, it can become a daily routine, and you can put that into a regimen, and it becomes easier as you go on, and it doesn't become so hard.
Kind of like the habit thing, you know, a habit is 80% of what you do. You do everything habitually. Exactly. That's crazy. So I got a question for you. The reason why I wanted to have you on this podcast is, like, I love having like motivated people, and obviously, you know, you're definitely motivated to get in the gym and grind it out. But what really, you know, you already kind of talked about what motivates you to be on the grind, but like, lights your flame? You know what I'm saying? I mean, obviously, you're talking about a little bit about your dad and your brother, but what every day, do you wake up and you're like, like that girl in the gym? What's another example, something like that?
Probably, you gotta think of yourself as what's gonna benefit you in the future. Like, if you're not taking care of your body, how are you gonna live longer? How are you gonna be able to keep yourself looking good and keeping yourself happy? Like, going to the gym and doing those workouts will keep you stress free. I mean, going to the gym is kind of like a stress reliever for me, honestly. When I have school going on and everything like that, even if I went to the gym earlier that morning and did a workout and I'm stressed from all the stuff that happened at school, I'm going to go to the gym again, because it's just one of those stress relievers that I really, really love. And you got to think of longevity too, because going to the gym and working out is going to help you to be healthy for the rest of your life. And you got to think of it like that. You got to think of it how it's going to benefit you in the long run, and not what other people think of you. Because when you start thinking about what other people think, it's just going to tear you down. So you got to think of it how it's going to benefit yourself.
Yeah.
That's the way I think of it.
I kind of resonate with you. Like, if even in the gym, like I've always been an athlete, and I played football, basketball, or not basketball, wrestled. Basketball's too complicated for me. I played soccer a little bit, but
yeah.
But just getting in the gym, you put on your headphones, you blast some music, like nothing else matters in that hour and a half, 2 hours you're in there. You know what I'm saying?
You have that opportunity to just be, it's
in
you
the
and
moment.
it's you and you only, and it's just, you have that opportunity to get rid of all of that stress that's been built up on you throughout the day, throughout the week, whatever. And
then you can, I love just like, if I I have all this homework or something, and or say I mess up or something, get like speeding ticket or whatever. I love physically beating myself up. As weird as that sounds,
yeah.
I just love going in the gym, and when I'm done, it's just like I can relax, and I know I gave my 100% effort. You know what I'm saying?
There's no, I always like to think when I go into the gym, and if I walk out of the gym and I feel like I didn't give 100% and I feel like I could have given more on some of my exercises, the next day or even the same day, I'm going to go in there and I'm going to tear it up, and you're going to watch me hobble out of that gym because, man, today I was shaking because I couldn't push the gas on my pickup to drive out of the Y parking lot. So I mean, I try to, and people see me in there at the Y when I get done with a leg machine, or I get done with a squat, and I'm hobbling and I'm trying to catch my balance, and they look at me and shake their head, and I'm like, that's how it is. You got to push yourself to limits that you don't think you can reach, and when you do that, you feel better and you feel like you succeeded and you can't push yourself anymore. And that's the best feeling, honestly.
You're talking about, that's why I love athletics too, is because every day, if you're not trying to push yourself, to be a better athlete, that's why you practice. Yeah. That's why you're in the gym. That's why you're, playing soccer every day, or, you're training to get better. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And if you're not in that mentality, if you're just goofing around, you just go home. You know what I'm saying? There's no point in you being there, because to be that super athlete, you know what I'm saying? Especially I played soccer last year, and I didn't play soccer in high school. I just kind of walked on and tried my best, but I had to be there before practice, and I stayed after practice, and just because my skill level wasn't there, you know what I'm saying? So it was I love seeing people push themselves to the next level. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Whether it be mentally, physically, or athletically. I mean, you're just out here doing what you love doing, you know?
It's all about that. It's all about that mentality and getting through that barrier. And that's another thing, because in high school, I feel like some of the sports that I did, I didn't give it 100%.
You're like, oh, coach, we got to run?
Yeah.
Coach, we got to sprint?
Yeah, I didn't give 110% effort on some of my stuff. I wish I'd give my life to be able to go back to high school, play football, and give 110% on every single thing that I did, every run, totally every carry.
I think a lot of people do that.
And then that's another one of the reasons why in the gym I want to go in there and tear it up, and it just makes me feel like I'm actually accomplishing what I couldn't do in the past. So.
Definitely. And not only do I think that relates to you personally, though, like, you know, you're getting the gym, you're getting your bigger muscles, whatever, but you being able to push yourself to do that will discipline yourself in other aspects of your life. You know, get your homework done. You got to get it done. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And you already know how to discipline yourself to get that done.
Yeah.
Or, you know, you're trying to, like, get a new job or something like that. I mean, you push yourself to the next level so you can become whatever else you set out to become. Because ultimately, you know, like, what else are we here for? You know what I'm saying?
That mentality of discipline is going to help you to push yourself to do things in life that you normally wouldn't do. Because if you push yourself in the gym and you discipline yourself to go every day, it's going to go into your life, and you're going to be able to discipline yourself to, like you said, do your homework, go find a job that you need to get things done that you need to do, like payments, everything like that. And it's just it's going to help you a lot in the long run.
For sure.
Honestly.
So what is something that you can say? I mean, we already talked about a lot of motivational stuff.
Yeah.
But somebody who is, you know, wants to get into the gym, you know, what's a good resource for them to just go for it?
I would ask for advice from someone who knows what they're talking about. I wouldn't go online and look up all these fad things and everything like that. I would go to someone personally and ask them for advice, and someone who knows what they're talking about. I'm not talking like your buddy that goes to the gym, you know, 2 or 3 times a week, and you think he knows what he's talking about. I'm talking like someone you know that goes to the gym every day, looks good, feels good, eats right, and knows what he's doing.
So what if you can't find that person? Like, so say, you know, I'm your average Joe, just moved here to Northeast. I don't know a lot of people. What can you do to get back in shape, or, you know, reach out? How do you find somebody like that? Just hang out at the gym and confront somebody? I know, because...
Pretty well, kind of, in a way, I would say, honestly. I mean, I would, if you don't want to spend money or anything like that, obviously, like... I would reach out to, like, if you're here at the college, I reach out to someone on campus. I know a couple of faculty that you can reach out to, and they can give you exactly what you need: diet, training, everything like that.
Or hit up Colby Todd on Instagram.
Hey, I'm open to it, man. I'm absolutely open to it.
For sure.
I'm willing to help anybody with anything that they need, honestly.
Yeah, that's really cool. And another thing I kind of wanted to just, you know, kill is, like, in the weight room, I feel like a lot of people have a stigma. You know, if you're small, like we were talking about that bigger guy, you know what I'm saying? Like, don't be afraid to just go in and tear it up, like you were saying. You know, just if you don't know what you're doing, you know, ask somebody. You know, you're there. Everybody who's there is, you might think they have that stigma. You know, if they're the person who goes there 3 times a week just to look, you know, just to do it, you know, look like, take the Snapchat of the gym, you know what I'm saying? Like those guys.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, maybe not ask those guys, but, you know, a lot of people that I've run into, like, you know, at first I'll be nervous and, like, you know, I don't want to talk to this guy because I don't, you know, I'm scared. But then I'll talk to him, and they're just the nicest dude. They're like, oh, yeah, you need to do this right, or, you know, let's work out together. You know, that's the biggest thing for me, is having somebody that I can, hey, let's go to the gym today. You know what I'm saying? For accountability. So
that's another thing. You need to find. I mean, I've had them in the past, like. But then they've given up on me eventually. But, like, I've had those guys where, hey, you want to go to the gym today? Or, like, it's an accountability thing. Like, yo, we're going to hit legs? And he's like, you know, I want to hit chest. Like, well, we haven't hit legs in a while, so we're going to hit legs. It's just one of those things. Like, I've had those guys. I've had people like that in the past. And those people are hard to find, really, honestly. And if you find someone like that you can push yourself with, then it's the best thing that you can possibly have going into the future. Yeah.
Cool. Well, is there anything else that you think that you would like to say, or?
Well, eventually I will be trying to start up a YouTube channel with my buddy Trevor. Whenever that happens, I will definitely go onto my Instagram. My Instagram is at Coby_Todd, TODD_13. Pretty much all of it's on there is my fitness stuff. You can't miss it. You can see you can see how I did at my shows, and I post almost every day on my stories of diet, training, everything like that, and just what I do. Right now I'm in the off season, obviously, trying to put on a little bit of size. I'm a little bit heavier set than what I was in the past, so That's just you can see what I do to put on size, but don't go by what I do. You need to figure out what's good for your body and what works best for you.
Cool. I think that's a wrap. Well, thanks for joining us, man. I appreciate all the stuff you had to say. And
yeah, absolutely. It was a pleasure.
For sure. That's a wrap, bro. He's got his food out here right now. He's always eating.
Every 2.5 3 hours, man.
What are you munching on right now?
Turkey. You got turkey. Ooh. Some red potatoes, and then I got green beans and carrots right there.
That looks delicious.
Yeah, that's pretty much the same thing day in and day out.
Dope. Peace out.